Okay, we all set?
And go ahead, please.
Great. Thanks very much, Matt. Good evening, everybody. Have a regular board meeting tonight. We were just in exec session beforehand. We were discussing personnel and contract negotiations. Right now, let me get to our agenda, which is, there we go. Okay, so Julie, if you want to go ahead and do a roll call, please.
Sure. Barbara Dayton.
Here.
Dave Conlon.
Here.
Tim Frazier. Pat Brabant. Pat.
I'm here.
Okay. And Amy. Amy.
Here.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Hold on, Deb. Christine's got two mics open. I don't know if she knows that or not.
I have two mics open?
Yeah, it says C. Cleary on one screen and then it says Christine Cleary on another.
Oh, that could be somebody else on the other screen. Sometimes somebody like hijacks a name somehow. That just happens.
Okay, so I didn't know if she was aware of that or not. That's what I'm
Okay.
looking at now.
Thanks, Pat. I was not aware.
You're up on the other one.
Okay, so thank you. If this time we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. And Matt, it has a, there we go. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you very much. The first portion of our meeting is dedicated to some recognitions that we have going on, some welcoming and some saying goodbying. So Deb, if you will go ahead.
Thank you, Barbara. This evening, I have the privilege and the honor to make a recommendation to the Spring School Board for your approval on the next principal of Spring School. The district did not have to search far for an individual who is intelligent, hardworking, approachable, curriculum-focused, dedicated, and always puts students first. I am recommending Ms. Christine Cleary as the next principal of Spring School. Christine Cleary has served the students, staff, and families of Spring School for 15 years. She was a 5th and a 6th grade classroom teacher for several years before working as a K-8 math intervention specialist. As a teacher, Ms. Cleary took on many leadership roles, including K-8 math coordinator, response to intervention, RTI chair, character education director, family math night coordinator, and in 2006, Ms. Cleary organized the first Spring School World's Fair, which has become a cultural cornerstone and beloved annual tradition at Spring School. Since 2015, Ms. Cleary has served as assistant principal of Spring School. In addition to her instructional and administrative duties, she acted as the district's chief information officer, dignity for all students coordinator. Ever committed to social justice and student empowerment, Ms. Cleary created the Spring School Diversity Ambassador Program, a student-led anti-bias task force, along with the annual Diversity Institute in 2017. She and her students, ambassadors, have been officially recognized by the Suffolk County Executor, the Suffolk County Human Rights Commission, and the New York State Assembly. In 2019, Ms. Cleary received the Suffolk County Organization of Professional Educators Scope Award for Excellence in School Administration. Ms. Cleary has always been dedicated, and her commitment to Spring School was never more evident than when she stepped up to fill the role of acting principal. In a school year filled with unprecedented challenges, Ms. Cleary led with a steady hand and has worked tirelessly with the Board of Education, the superintendent, and the entire administrative team to keep our schools not only open, but our students and our staff safe, and kept the community informed during a global pandemic. Prior to coming to Spring School, Ms. Cleary taught at PS 85 in the Bronx and the Child Development Center of the Hamptons. She holds a bachelor's in English from Oswego State University, a master's in education from the City College of Manhattan, and a certificate in educational administration from the Massachusetts College of Liberal Arts. Ms. Cleary continues to pursue specialized coursework in curriculum instruction and leadership in order to best serve the students, staff, and the community of Springs. I'd like to move her recommendation from personnel to recognition for the Board of Ed's approval.
Well, Deb, I would be happy to do that.
Thank you, Barbara.
So be it resolved that the Board of Education accepts, yes, there we go. First of all, be it resolved that the Board of Education accepts the resignation of Christine Cleary, Assistant Principal, effective February 9th, 2021. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then moving on, be it resolved that effective February 9th, 2021, Christine Cleary is hereby appointed as principal at an annual salary of $155,000. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. And we're delighted to have Christine leading our school. As you said, Deb, she has showed so much initiative in the time she's been here, and we've been very, very fortunate to have her and to know that she'll be with us for a while now, an extended time. So we're really looking forward to that. And Christine, wherever you are, congratulations again.
Thank you very much. Is it okay if I say a word, Barbara?
Certainly, by all means.
Okay. I want to really, from the bottom of my heart, thank the Board of Education and Superintendent Winter and the phenomenal staff and students of Spring School. I feel so completely honored and grateful for this opportunity and to lead the school that I love so much in the community where I live and adore. And I look forward to moving Springs into the next chapter with all you phenomenal people by my side. And again, thank you so much for this opportunity. It is truly, truly a privilege and honor for me. Thank you.
Oh, sorry we can't be here to do this in person and to see you all together. And anyway, the sentiment that we all have is still there, even though it's via Zoom, and we really do feel very lucky that you will be with us as our principal.
Thank you.
Deb, if you want to go on to the second part of recognition.
Yes, I'm going to ask Christine Cleary to please recognize Jody Holman at this time, and I will follow her with our Mr. Holman. Christine?
So I was asked to say a few words about Mrs. Jody Holman. And what can you say about an incredible professional and phenomenal teacher and team player that is Jody Holman? Jody started her career at Springs in 1991. We've been lucky to have her for 30 years. She was a mere baby when she came to our school. She came as a fourth grade teacher, and as fate would have it, she's actually leaving as a fourth grade teacher. So she has come full circle. In those 30 years, she has taught many different grades. She spent 17 years in kindergarten, honing her primary grade skills. She moved on to first grade. She also taught second grade, library media, RTI reading, and RTI math. When she first came on in the early days, which precedes me, people couldn't wait to tell me how much she embraced responsive classroom. When it first came to be, she was teaching the whole child and looking at social emotional learning before those phrases were even coined in the education business. She's always about the students. She jumped in at the very last minute at the beginning of this year to fill a fourth grade position and never looked back, and we could not be more grateful for that. She helped start the Spirit Meet that we have grown to know and love over the years, and she was coordinator of Spirit Meet for many, many years. She's always been involved and volunteered for PTA events, the Parents as Reading Partners Committee. She was the coordinator of that for a while as well. She was never shy about dressing up as a cowgirl or a piece of candy at a park rally to make the kids laugh and get excited about reading and learning. And who can forget the happy hippies that the Hallmans always dressed as for the Halloween parade. Ms. Hallman has been integral to the district, especially this year with training our teachers in technology and helping out with distance learning. She is a level 1 certified Google trainer. We like to call her the Google guru. And she has always stepped up to make sure her colleagues have what they need in way of skills and technology savvy so they can best meet the needs of the kids. We thank her for that. She's always had a great rapport with her students and with the parents, and they could not say enough about her and how sad they are to see her leave our district. But we do wish her the best of luck, as well as her husband, as they start their new life in Florida with their beloved daughters, Brianna and Maddie. And we want them to know that Spring School will always be a home to them, and we are here with open arms whenever they want to come back and visit. Thank you, Jody Hallman, for your 30 years of service and for being an incredible teacher and friend to Spring School.
Cry. Don't cry. Don't cry.
Christine.
Going to. No, I can't say anything.
All right, let's embarrass Mr. Hallman now.
Oh, wait, something was left out about Mrs. Hallman, her prowess with helping kids who had loose teeth. She was the person to go to. My kids never had her, but I heard from so many people, and you have a kid about to lose a tooth, you got to go see Mrs. Hallman. She knows what to do. She's got skills.
So true.
That is true.
I just learned something new about you, Mrs. Hallman.
I'm the tooth fairy in disguise.
All right. Well, that's a hard act to follow, Mr. Hallman, but
It's okay.
Bill's been teaching at the Spring School for 18 years. He's taught library and most recently STEAM. He is always looking for a new way to engage students, including building free libraries, iBots, and even building bird houses with one of our community members and our functional academic students. He really didn't have a chance to say no to that one. It kind of got, his arm twisted a little bit, but you did it with a smile, you did it with grace, and you really bridged a community member, and you really made him realize how important Spring School was to so many children and why it costs what it costs to educate these children. So I thank you for that, taking time to really show one of our community members what Springs was really made of. So I just have to put that out there again. You supported our technology teachers, our regular teachers, also being Google certified. I wonder where you get that from. I don't know who got it first, you or Mrs. Holman, but you both have been instrumental in making sure that our teachers were prepared to do remote instruction. We did not have the learning curve that many districts had because we had the both of you to help our teachers through that journey and to help our students. And I have to say the administration, because this was a learning curve for us as well. Google Meets and Zoom meetings and forget it. Extracurricular activities, Mr. Holman's been part of it. Again, I don't know who dragged who to what, but they were always present at the PTA barbecue, math night, and anything else that we needed them to be at. They came in together in the morning, they left at night after a function together. But most of all, Mr. Holman, I have to thank you for being part of the budget process. Many of you may not know it because his name isn't on anything, but he is the man behind the budget brochure. Every year about this time, we set up lunch dates and we sit at the computer trying to figure out what's the best way to present the budget in a way that the community can consistently find what they need and understand. We've agreed that the format needs to always stay the same and just change the information. But that format has been so important for our community to be able to understand our budget. I don't know what I'm going to do without you, but I know there's something called technology. So you'll be getting phone calls from us next year at this time saying, okay, what do we do? How do we keep this consistent budget brochure each year? It's been a pleasure to work with you, Bill. I am truly going to miss you. You have brought so much to the technology program, from our drones to our 3D printers to our new laser printing machine. What can I say? You're just going to really be missed, and I hope you're going to continue to send us these things that we must have at Springs and tell me who can pay for it, because you're also good at writing grants and saying, well, maybe this person will help us with this. So feel free to keep sending that stuff along as you go off into your retirement. Please stay healthy, both of you. Be good to each other, and just enjoy your life. And thank you for your service to Spring School. We're so grateful.
Thank you,
Thank
Deb.
you. We're so grateful.
We are. We wouldn't have sent our kids. We really believe in the Spring School. We really thank the boards, former, past, and present, for allowing us to bring our kids, because family's really everything to us, and that's why we just thought it was the right time for us to go out this year and move down and live with our kids for a while until they tell us, hey, go now. But no, they're looking forward to it. We are, and we thank you, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you both so much. I mean, I got my hanky.
You and me both.
It's always so hard to say goodbye to people who have been such, an important part of our school for so many years and have really contributed a lot to, the school, and to so many parents who, have really valued your being there for them. So, sincere thanks for the amount of time that you've donated to Springs and all the good works that you have done here. We really do appreciate it. And we'll miss you.
Thanks.
Thank you. We'll miss all of you.
Yep.
And we'll miss the kids.
Mostly the kids. Sorry, no offense.
Kids first.
So, thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck and enjoy yourselves.
Thanks, Amy.
Yeah, when things get back to normal, if you guys are around up north, you got to stop at Spirit Meets and come visit us.
Absolutely.
We will. We will.
Always your home.
No, we're going to send all our kids down to Florida now.
Well,
yes.
There's a very good college that my girls have graduated from, and if they go there, you always have our number.
That's right.
There you go.
It's always nice to have somebody from home who can, be there in a moment's notice. We had family down there. It was great. Worked out beautifully.
We would take them all.
Yep.
I know you would. I know you would.
It sounds like you've got some nice plans for down there. So really
do.
wish you all the best with that. And
Thank you very much, everybody.
we'll get word of how you're doing.
For sure.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
don't forget, you can sign in for our board meetings, because they will still be, televised. So.
I think it's great that it is, that even if you go back live.
Yeah.
It's nice to have this option.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. Deb, did you want me to bring up the retirements, or are we going to do that in personnel?
I would love to move them up, Barbara, at this time. Thank you.
All right. So be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby accepts the resignation of Jody Holman, elementary teacher, effective June 30th, 2021. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second? That was Pat, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby accepts the resignation of Bill Holman, elementary teacher, for the purpose of retirement, effective June 30th, 2021. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Made the motion, I'll second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Well, it's official. I wanted to say no, but I knew I couldn't say that. So
Congratulations.
We'll contain ourselves.
It's so funny, the first time you get hired, you're so nervous. And now you're like, all right, this is just procedural. Let's go. But thank
all
you.
right. Oh,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome. Thank you for being with us and,
Absolutely.
Thank you for inviting us.
right. And we will see you around for a couple more months.
You bet.
You
All
will.
right. Great. Okay, that wraps it up for our recognitions this evening. We do have a, Deb, did you want to do a COVID report or you want to go to capital project update while we have Derek here?
Why don't we go to capital project update and then we'll go to COVID update.
Okay, great. So we have Derek Nats from Park East here with us this evening to go over, let us know where we are with the capital project.
Okay, great. Can you see the PowerPoint?
Yes.
All right, great. Well, thank you for having me this evening. Tonight's presentation is going to consist of the following topics: work progress for February 2021, planned work for March, and then some construction photos just showing you some of the progress that has taken place. So starting with the work schedule for February, they're going to continue the masonry for the gym. They're about 90% complete at this point. Continuing with the brick for the gym, they're about 30% complete. They're going to be completing the soffits on the new addition, which are currently 90%. Installing HVAC ductwork for the main classrooms, that is also at 90%. Installing heating units in the ceilings, all those units have been installed. Installing the piping for those same units, it's about 50% complete to date. Installing insulation for the heating and water pipes, about 65% complete. Installing circuit wiring for the lighting and power, 60% complete. And wiring of the distribution panels for the new addition, and that's 80% complete. So the work schedule for March, plan to complete the brick for the new addition. You know, the weather hasn't been the best for these items that are contingent on the weather. So we are losing some days when it's not warm enough. You know, they're not allowed to install the brick. So we were hoping for that to be done in February. So it's just getting pushed to March. As far as the overall plan, it shouldn't negatively affect the overall schedule. Finishing interior masonry and fire stopping, which is about 75% complete to date. Finishing roofing on the gym. The roof on the gym has not started yet. They did complete the roof on the classrooms. Again, this is a weather contingent item. Installing HVAC, ERV, rooftop units for the gym. Once the roof is completed, the rooftop units that supply the air to the space will be installed. Install block filler and paint. Again, weather really plays a critical role in this. We need some higher temperatures or some temporary heat. Starting the ceiling grid for the classrooms. That will start, we're projecting it will start in March, and that follows the painting of the spaces. So once they're painted, then the ceiling grid will go in. Here's some photos of the masonry in progress. The left photo is the gym storage rooms. The right photo is the gym proper. All right, here's some exterior shots. This is also the gym addition. You can see in the left photo, there's some flashings, the copper flashings. That black material is the cavity wall insulation. And then they go up and enclose all of that with the brick veneer. In the right photo, you can see some of the through wall flashings that are, buried once the brick goes up. That helps the water wick out of the building. These are soffits. The left photo, you can see the asphalt shingled pitch roof. Then you have white hardy board soffits and fascias. I believe last meeting I indicated you can see with the brick and you see the coins on the corners. Where you see the non-brick areas of the CMU, that will eventually be covered in plaster once weather allows. The right photo is just a close-up of the hardy plank fascias and soffits. Some interior shots of the new addition. Left photo shows you the ductwork for the HVAC systems, insulation on the ductwork. Right photo showing you pretty similar shot. All right, so this is the installation of the heating units. The left photo is the tech room. That square unit in the middle of the photo is a cassette unit. The right photo is a split system for the electrical room, provides cooling for all the electrical equipment. This is the installation of the piping for the heating units. This is the left photos, the copper supply and return lines in the main hallway. The right photo is the supply and return lines, ductwork at the main entrance. Left photo is showing you some of the supply and return lines in the hallway, also being insulated. Electrical roughing, the coils of wire in the ceiling on the left photo, that's all the wiring whips for the light fixtures. The photo to the right just shows you some electrical conduits and data. If you look, the blue coils, that's all your data for the new addition. And then these are the distribution panels. The left larger panel is the main distribution for the building. The right smaller panel is the lighting panel that will support all the lighting fixtures. We're hoping over February break that we could switch over to the permanent power that will support this building. If everything works out, we're having a little bit of difficulty with PSE&G because of the weather. It's tough to get a commitment out of them, and they need to participate in the switchover. So we're trying to finalize that this week so that during the week of February break, we can do the switchover and everything will be on its permanent power. That's the last slide. Concludes the update. Any questions or comments? Okay, well, thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks, Derek. We really appreciate the update. I guess I did have one question. Sorry, it took me a minute to find my mic there. You were talking about there is still some masonry work to do inside. I guess even with the weather, the inside work is still possible. It's just the exterior brickwork that can't be done right now.
Both types of masonry, like today, for instance, is too cold. If you're above freezing, and even if you're just slightly above it, there's mechanisms and ways of preparing the mortar that suffice. But once you're below freezing, I think we were at like 22 degrees today.
Yeah.
All the masonry stops.
Okay.
Once we're above that 32-degree threshold, they heat the water. There's some add mixtures. They heat the sand, and then they put blankets, insulated blankets, over the masonry. And the trick is that the mortar that secures the bricks and the blocks, that it doesn't freeze, and that's what we try to mitigate against.
Okay, well, thanks very much. Doesn't look like the rest of this week's going to be so great for that kind of work, unfortunately. But we'll look forward to getting the next report from you.
Sounds good. And just the positive with it is that they did make big strides when the weather was good. So even though we're losing time now, we still are on schedule with the overall project.
Oh, yes, great. Thank you for pointing that out, because we knew we were able to get a bit ahead with, with having school closed. Then you guys were able to start on things sooner. So, so thank you for reminding us of that.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
Thanks, Derek. You too. Deb, if you want to go ahead and do the COVID update then before we get into the rest of our business items.
Sure, Barbara. We have Alejandra with us. She'll translate after the two sections. The first section's on testing and the second section is about travel guidelines, especially with February break coming up. So last Wednesday, the district tested 55 staff and students. All test results were negative. Thank you to all our students and staff who volunteered to be tested. Thank you to our nurses, again, for their efforts. This testing is to assess if there is a spread in school by asymptomatic adults or children. We will test again this Wednesday, February 10th. Staff will be tested first thing in the morning, followed by students who will be brought in by their parents. All are required to complete the health survey. If they have had COVID in the last 90 days, they cannot be tested. If they have symptoms, they cannot be tested. This is a rapid test and requires 15 minutes to get results. The district is required over the 2-week period to test 20% of our students and staff, which means we will test 160 students and staff. We're looking for the spring's number of positive cases to be less than the county. The current 7-day average for the county is 5.6 as of February 7th. So right now we're below that, but tomorrow, Wednesday is another day. Special thank you to our nurses, Ms. Girardi, Ms. Gurney, as well as our substitute nurses who have volunteered to help test. Special thanks to my secretary, our technology department, and our interpreters as well. Of course, we will continue to post our results in the New York State COVID report card, share them with the community as I did last week. If parents decide on the day of testing that you want your child tested and you haven't been able to make an appointment, please, by all means, come during the hours of 10 to 12, 1 to 3. We have plenty of tests available and plenty of appointment slots still available. Come from the car line doors, and please bring only the students that attend spring school and are going to be tested. Alejandra, can you interpret that, please? By the way, she has this in writing ahead of time, so.
La superintendente les quiere dejar saber que el miércoles pasado el distrito hizo las pruebas a 55 personas, personal de la escuela y a estudiantes. Todos los resultados salieron negativos y queremos agradecerle a todos los estudiantes y al personal que fueron voluntarios. Las pruebas son para ver si se expande el virus dentro de las escuelas en personas que son asintomáticos. Vamos a seguir hasta este miércoles que viene, el 10 de febrero. Primero van a hacerle las pruebas al personal de la escuela en la mañana y luego a los estudiantes que los traigan los papás. Todas las personas que se hagan la prueba están requeridas a que le hagan un cuestionario. Si hay COVID en los últimos 90 días, no pueden hacerse la prueba. Si tienen síntomas, tampoco no pueden hacerse la prueba. Esta prueba requiere 15 minutos para que les den los resultados y el distrito es requerido en un tiempo de 2 semanas para que hagan la prueba a 20% de los estudiantes y del personal, que quiere decir que tienen que hacerle la prueba a 160 estudiantes y personal de la escuela. Estamos buscando para que el número de estudiantes de Springs sea que el del condado. El promedio del condado en una fecha de 7 días fue 5.6% el 7 de febrero. Entonces queremos un número menos de eso. Queremos agradecerle a todos los que participaron y ayudaron para hacer las pruebas. Y también queremos saber a los papás que si deciden el miércoles, el 10 de febrero, que si le quieren hacer la prueba a sus hijos, que sí, por favor, y no han podido hacerle como cita, todavía hay bastantes lugares para que se haga la prueba. pueden entrar por las puertas donde los dejan en la mañana y las pruebas se van a hacer entre 10 y 12 de la tarde y 1 y 3 de la tarde. Solo estudiantes que sean estudiantes en la escuela de Springs se pueden hacer la prueba.
Thank you. I want to remind parents who plan to travel over February break that there are new travel guidelines are in effect that allow out-of-state travelers to test out of the mandatory 10-day quarantine. On this note, if you choose to travel over the February break, please let your child's teacher or nurse know. Your child will be marked absent and will not be able to access any remote learning during the quarantine period of time. If you cannot get a test before arriving in New York and you are traveling by plane, note you may not be able to get on the plane as some planes require testing. This is new. If you are driving and cannot show testing 3 days before arriving in New York, you will have to quarantine for 10 days, even if you get the testing here in New York on the 4th day of your return. Additional testing is required to test on your 4th day home. Please consider carefully your choice to travel. These guidelines are also for adults and their ability to return to their jobs. Again, test 3 days before returning to New York, then test on the 4th day from when you return. Stay safe. Alejandra, thank you.
Le queremos también dejar saber que hay nuevas pautas de viaje para las personas viajando fuera del estado que permiten que no sea necesaria hacerse la cuarentena de 10 días. Sin embargo, si decide viajar durante estas vacaciones de febrero, que serían del 15 al 19 de febrero, por favor dejarle saber a la maestra o maestro o a la enfermera de la escuela de que ustedes van a viajar. Si su hijo va a viajar, serán marcados ausentes y no podrán acceder a ningún aprendizaje por medio de la computadora. Si no puede obtener un examen antes de llegar a Nueva York y está viajando en avión, tenga en cuenta que tal vez no lo dejen subir al avión. Algunos aviones están haciendo eso y esto es nuevo. Si va a conducir, no puede mostrar el examen de 3 días antes de regresar a Nueva York. Está requerido hacer cuarentena de 10 días. Prueba adicional es requerida para salir de cuarentena al 4º día después de su regreso a Nueva York, si es que se hizo la 3 días antes de regresar. Considere cuidadosamente su elección de viaje. Estas pautas también son para adultos para poder regresar al trabajo. De nuevo, por favor, háganse la prueba 3 días antes de su regreso a Nueva York y otra vez 4 días después de su regreso. Por favor.
Thank you, Alejandra. That concludes the update on COVID.
Thank you very much, Deb. And all that information will be available on our website too for anybody who
Correct.
wants to see it there. Thank you. So it is now time for public commentary number 1. This would be on our items of board business regarding personnel, finance, and policy. And we do have the school calendar on there as well. So if anybody has any questions on the items of board business right now, you can call into LTV. I know that the phone number is up there.
And as of right now, we have 0 callers on the line.
Okay.
And the phone line is working as I've tested it twice.
Okay, we'll just give it a minute there.
Hey, Deb, are we reaching the 20% for staff testing?
We reached 20% on staff testing. We are a little light on student testing for Wednesday. We still have slots open. I have spoken to the Department of Health. We can keep the test and we can test maybe that Wednesday after the break, or we can just hold on to them to see if we're going to need testing for sports come March.
If we don't reach the 20% for students, could we use that extra for testing more staff?
Yes, absolutely. It just has to be people in the building. We cannot do parents or, staff people outside the building.
Right.
Okay. Matt, are there any calls at this point?
We still have 0 callers, Barbara.
No.
Thank you.
Okay. So I think we'll move along then with our the remaining personnel items. Carrie?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Good evening. So I was looking over personnel, and we were so excited for Miss Cleary to become principal that we would like to keep her, and we forgot to put an anticipated tenure date. So B will have to just read Barbara with an anticipated tenure date. I did adjust it on the agenda of February 9th, 2024.
Oh, right. Yes, that's on there right now. So you went ahead and you adjusted.
Yes, I adjusted that for us. Correct.
All right. So I will reread that then.
Okay, sorry. Okay, perfect. You can include it. Okay. So we have B, the appointment of Miss Cleary as principal. Then we will jump to E, MOA for family medical leave. F is a family medical leave for Mr. King. And G is a medical leave for employee number 2075. H is to rescind a medical leave for employee 2047. I is the Fifth Amendment to Ms. Delalio's contract or agreement. J is the amendment to Eric Schwab to be a 0.2 of a 2/5 starting today. And K is the amendment to Rosa's 0.2 appointment to end as of February 5th. And L are a few substitutes that we have come back, that have worked for us previously. So Barbara, you have B and then E through L.
Right. Thank you. Do any board members have any questions at this time? In that case, do I have a motion to move personnel items B and then E through L to consent agenda?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Deb, we have the school calendar.
All right, let me get, okay. All right, so on the school calendar, I originally showed the board draft number 5, which I revised just for the total number of days. I've added a draft 6, and that's the calendar I want to talk to the board about. In working with BBS and Park East, I am concerned about the opening of school and bringing children back with this construction. So I'm looking for a way to maximize bringing staff in, doing professional development, and having them have time to organize their rooms. Almost every single staff person will be in a new room with the construction completed in September. So the calendar 6 has 3 superintendent's conference days, which I'm permitted to do by their contract, and the start of the school day, the start of the school year on the 13th with children. What we removed was the superintendent's conference day on election day, the 2nd. And everything else on the calendar stays the same. That Wednesday before Thanksgiving, all the breaks are the same. We're within our contractual agreement with the teachers union, 3 superintendent's conference days. I am allowed to go up to that. And we still have 2 contingent days. I'm not calling them snow days anymore. I'm calling them contingent days because it could be for lack of heat, plumbing. It could even be if the building's not ready and I could use them up front if I had to. So I'm changing snow days to contingent days on this calendar. And believe it or not, in 2014-15, spring school called them contingent days, I think because of hurricane season. Okay. So those are the 2 calendars before you. I have run it by the STA, which I'm required to do in their contract. And I think they would be comfortable with either one, but they understand why I'm trying to push out the start of school with the anticipated construction.
Right. So as we're looking at East Hampton's schedule, their first day of school for students would be on the 8th.
Correct.
Right. And then our students actually wouldn't be starting. Well, actually, I mean, the high school students clearly would be starting then. Our school would not be starting until the 13th.
It's only pushed out 2 days, correct, Deb? It's only 2 days, really.
Right.
Correct.
It's only 2 days.
Correct. I would have been bringing the students back on the other calendar, Pat. I would have been bringing the students back on the 9th. I actually gained 4 days when you think about it. I gained Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That our teachers can get in, custodial can get in.
Right.
Yeah. I was at that BBS meeting, and they were talking about all the work's going on in July and August. There's going to be time for custodial staff to get it ready.
Right, but on those superintendent conference days, you will be in the building on that day, correct? Those days.
Yes.
Right? Is there any question that we might not be done by then, and that would be an issue?
I'm not telling BBS they have more time.
Right.
I'm seeing this time for us to get our classrooms ready and to have custodials be able to clean rooms. Remember, the rooms in the new construction will be cleaned by the construction company. The contractor has to clean and prepare those rooms, but then we have to move furniture into them.
Right.
It's a total shift.
Okay, so do any of the board members have any questions or concerns about this one? Or are we ready to go ahead and adopt this?
When does that have to be drafted by? When does it be accepted?
Your other surrounding districts have adopted their budgets already. Montauk, East Hampton.
Calendar.
Is there a contractual or is there a certain procedure that has to follow? It has to be put in January. We couldn't wait till March.
You can wait till March.
At the end of March. I know BBS was talking how they can't predict 5 months from now with construction, everything going on with materials. Everybody wants to start early when they got kids at school. But 2 days is not a lot of time either. I mean, the 13th, but, it does affect other parents, But when do we have to have a definite answer by? Wait till April, or do we need to answer, when do we need an answer for it?
I'll look to see if there's a date in New York State, Mike. I don't know if there's a date that I have to upload this calendar, but I know the sooner we can, the sooner people make their plans, I guess.
Well, I mean, if we want to wait, I mean, maybe waiting until March and seeing how the next 2 months go in terms of the construction, that might be a better thing to do to make sure we're really on track for those days.
That's what I was hoping for, Barbara.
Yeah. No, I mean, because if there's no legal obligation to do this right now from the state's perspective, then I think waiting a little bit. If things still look like they're ahead of schedule, maybe we don't have to wait until the 13th. If things look like they are, then we do. So maybe we should give it a little more time.
I'm okay with that. Mike, do you see any problem with waiting? Mike Henry?
No, I don't see a problem. I was just on the state ed website trying to find something on it, but I haven't found anything yet.
Okay.
So, all right, let's table that for the time being.
Okay. We'll bring it back in March, Barbara.
And then
Thanks,
moving
Deb.
on to finance items. Mike, thank you. We have the appropriation status report and the revenue status report.
Right, so you've got those two.
Yep.
And that's it for that section on the finance information items. And then on the finance items is the acceptance of the warrants for January 2021 and the corrective action plan for the auditor's comments.
All right, does anybody have any questions on these items at this time?
I do on the recommendations. That's all the grants that were filed and all that, right? That was all taken care of now, right?
Yes.
Okay. Was there a reason why the delay or just that's normal procedure, Mike?
No, a lot of it's normal procedure, waiting for the auditors to finish their audit work before I can actually file a correct FS10F.
Okay.
So, we're trying to get the auditors in earlier and the accountants in earlier to close out the books. We need the accounts come in earlier to close out the books for us to do their final reviews. And then we need to get the auditors in a lot sooner than they've been coming in so that we can get, more of a final number that I can then do the FS10Fs for all of the grants.
Is the reason they haven't been in earlier, like scheduling things on their end, or does it have to do with preparedness on our end?
No, I think it's a lot of scheduling on their end. And I know this past summer, it was tough. All of the accountants and everybody that was so backed up because they couldn't do a lot of the interim work in the spring because all the schools were closed. So everything got pushed back quite a bit this past year. But everything's filed.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, thank you. All right, so at this time, do I have a motion to move finance items A and B to consent agenda?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much there. Carrie, back to you. We have a brief special ed item.
Absolutely. So we have just a few special ed cases this month. Next month, you will have more waiting for adoption of calendars just to finalize some of them because they're mostly annuals for next year. So that will be done in March.
Okay.
But otherwise, it's just the usual.
All right. Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby accepts the recommendations from the Committee on Preschool Special Education and the Committee on Special Education for CPSE case number 1 and CSE cases 1 through 7. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have one policy item on for this evening, which is suspending a policy. Deb, do you want to explain this?
Yes, Barbara, thank you. So last year, when the pandemic hit and we had to close school on March 13th, we did not count the last quarter grades with regular grading. We did pass-fail. Our policy for valedictorian and salutatorian include that quarter currently, the way the policy reads. So our attorney, Mary Ann Sadowski, recommended that we just suspend the policy for this year, use the first 3 quarters of last year and the first 3 quarters of this year, which is the normal procedure for the 8th grade year, to calculate our valedictorian and salutatorian. So that is why that's before you this evening.
Okay, thank you for the explanation. So this is just a suspension for this year. The Board of Education hereby suspends policy 4831, valedictorian and salutatorian for this school year. Calculation will be based on 3 quarters for 7th grade and 3 quarters for 8th versus 4 for last year. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. And we now have time for the principal's report. So would our Principal Cleary please give us her update?
Sure. Good evening, everybody, again. So we unfortunately were not able to return our grade 6 through 8 students today, although we were ready to, but Mother Nature did not cooperate. So one day delayed. We will welcome back our students in grades 6 through 8 tomorrow. Everything is ready. I want to thank all the staff members for pulling together. It took quite a lot of effort to get these new schedules up and running and to turn things over to make sure that we had enough space in all the classrooms. And we split 3 sections into 4 at 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And just everybody chipped in and made sure that we had the right amount of desks and shields and PPE and square footage and all of that good stuff. So thank you to everybody on that. And a special thanks to Maria Mondini for helping out with the scheduling. And that was all in the middle of report cards. Report cards are actually on the parent portal starting today. The grades were due on Friday. And parents, we will not be using paper this year as per CDC guidelines. So we ask the parents to go on the parent portal and look for their child's report card. If they have any issues or problems, they can email me or call me at school tomorrow and we will walk them through it. We had some really nice celebrations this week. We had the Super Bowl that we reported on last time. The 3rd grade, it was in their character ed program, was spreading kindness by collecting canned goods for the Springs Food Pantry in the name of the Super Bowl. And the kids could predict which team they thought would win. The Kansas City Chiefs were actually the favored team, and we know how that turned out. So the prediction wasn't quite accurate, but they did collect over 300 cans of soup for the Springs Pantry, and it was a really lovely charity and act of kindness on the 3rd grade's part. Also, 4th grade, they were spreading kindness, 1 prepackaged donut at a time. The Dreesen's donut truck pulled up. We did get snowed out last Monday. They ended up coming on Thursday and delivering lots and lots of donuts, both powdered and apple cinnamon. And the best part about it was watching the kids' faces. Every single student, K through 8, received a donut. And the 4th graders who made sure that the kids were getting the donuts and the staff members, they were thrilled to give and to spread the kindness and the joy. And that's what it was all about. So we want to thank our character education coordinator, Crystal Reiner, for funding that through her character education budget, and also to Melissa Knight and the rest of the 4th grade team for putting that together. It did take quite a bit of organizing, but they got it done. The East Hampton was here taking photos, so hopefully we'll see a nice picture in the paper this week. Professional development continues. Our teachers have been working hard, sharpening their skills. We have literacy PD going on with our consultant in literacy, Lauren Kolbach. We have been focusing on primary grades at this point, and then we will move up into the upper middle and junior high towards the end of the year. And we're talking about best practices for distance learning, but also for a small group and workshop model. The ENL department has been running professional circles after school. They're doing once a month. I was able to sit in on the first professional circles, and they did a wonderful job on what strategies are most effective for English language learners during remote teaching and learning. So that was really an eye-opener. They had a lot of good strategies that were shared, and they will continue with their professional development, and everybody is welcome to join. That's about it. We are busy looking at data. We have our student profiles coming out. The teachers have been assessing, not just for report card purposes, but we are going to be comparing all the data to assess learning loss and to come up with some interventions to get our kids to make sure that from now until the end of the year, we are accelerating their learning to make up for any learning loss from last year or the beginning of this year. We are looking at literacy data, reading scores. We're looking at math scores. We're looking at, classroom behaviors. We're looking at attendance, and all different kinds of data to make sure that we can get a really accurate picture of where the kids started in September and where they are now. And hopefully then we can plan accordingly to push them forward so that they end the year on a really successful note. But our work is cut out for us. So the teachers have been phenomenal in providing that information to us. And that's all I have for now.
Thank you very much, Christine. That was a really thorough overview. It's great to hear about all the professional development going on. That's something that this board has always really wanted to support for our teachers because we know how invaluable it is. And eventually I'd like to hear more about how this is working with ENL and remote learning. It seems like that might be a really a tough area to keep, the right level of education going. But I certainly don't know. But so, getting some follow-up on that would be great, I think. And
that would be great. I can even ask our ENL department to possibly present out on that, maybe at a board meeting. So, and thank you to the board for your support. Without your support, none of these programs would happen. And they're all really, really incredibly valuable to our staff and our students.
Yeah. And speaking of the students, love hearing those reports of the donuts and the Super Bowl. I'm so happy that we have such, caring and giving students at our school, and that they're receiving, the character education and the good example from people. So it's those sound like two really, really great events.
Well, I had mentioned to the kids, I said, this was such a joyful day. And not just because I love donuts, but, it just was a great feel-good day. Everybody is searching for joy wherever they can find it. And it was a wonderful day. And I said to one of the fourth graders, I would love to do this. Wouldn't it be great if we could do this every week? And he said, Miss Cleary, you'll go broke.
Smart kid.
Yeah.
Thank you. Does anyone on the board have a question at this time regarding the update? All right, Christine, Principal Cleary, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Deb, if you want to go to your report in the enrollment report.
Yeah, mine is boring as usual now. I want to look at the trend enrollment from November to current. We had 643 students that is in our building, counting the pre-K. Today, we have 649. So there's a difference of 6 children up, but in between, we lost children and we gained children. Yes, it seems like an odd time for that to be happening, but it is occurring. If we count our students that are still on homeschooling or by their parents, we will probably be only 20 students behind where we were last year at this time. So we did not see a huge drop, but we did not see a huge increase either in students like some of our counterparts did. The big question is the unknown in pre-K for next year. Right now we're at 29. And we don't know how many kindergartners are out there. Current registration is open. What I do want to ask the community, and we'll put something out on our website, is if you have a school-age child that you've been either homeschooling or schooling through their old school, and you are going to enroll your child in spring school, we would encourage you to enroll them sooner than later, even if it's for next year. We'll take your enrollment now so that we can plan appropriately. We do know that there's a number of families living in Springs who are accessing their remote learning from either New York City, Arizona, or other places because they could. You could learn almost anywhere right now. But if they intend to stay in Springs, please register your student now. It seems like it's far away for September, but it will help us for budget purposes. If that number is going to swing one way, we'd like to be prepared for it.
So what's the best way to get that request out there to the community? Because if people's children aren't going to our school right now, doing it through the schools, are just like a word of mouth thing with people who know people doing that? Or do we have,
We will probably put an ad in the paper like we did for pre-K,
Yep.
in the 2 local papers, Facebook, Twitter. There
Right.
seems to be a following on our PTA page. We'll put it out there. Carrie, did you want to comment on that?
I was just going to say we've been doing registration through our PTA page, and that helps because once it gets onto Facebook, everyone forwards it, and that seems to be the best way to get information out to the community. So it's amazing. But the newspaper, we put it in preschool, and we only had 2 people come and register. We put it out on Facebook, and we're up to next year. 16 so far are in the process of registering for our preschool. So
Deb, you mentioned that we have a few students, out of state doing their online schooling. Have you sent letters to those parents asking if they're returning?
no,
Yeah,
do we have our students out of state, or were you just talking about others? Okay.
No, I'm
I thought
talking
you said-
about, I've heard that there are individuals in these pods or are getting their remote learning from their old school living in Springs. So I just, they may be returning back home after this pandemic is over, but if they're not returning and they're actually staying and they plan to register their child, don't wait till August to do it. We prefer to know now.
Well, so none of our students are not learning out in a pod out of state.
Not that we know of. They've actually disenrolled if they are, Pat. We have about 27 students that are being homeschooled, and we think all of those students will be back when the school opens up. In fact, some of them have already returned.
Okay, thanks.
And we're counting them as returning.
No, I was just confused when you said you had that, but you're talking in general of the pod learning.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, Deb, thanks. See, that wasn't boring. Finishing up some old business here, which is approval of previous minutes. Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby approves the minutes from the January 11th, 2021 regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great, thank you. So then at this time, it is time for public commentary number 2 on any other items that are going on. Again, the phone number for calling in is on the screen there that LTV has. So we'll give a minute for anyone who has a question about something to call in. Matt will let us know.
And as of right now, you have 0 callers, but as you said, we'll wait a minute.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Deb or Julie, maybe as we were waiting, I know we've gotten extended permissions for these remote meetings. When is that time currently through that the remote meetings are okayed?
I received notice that it was through the month of February.
Okay.
But I can get an exact date on that for you. But I know it was through our meetings through the month of February.
Okay, but they do seem to be rolling that over at this point. Every
it does seem to be happening, yes.
Right, okay, thank you. Matt, any callers at this time?
We do have one on your command. I will unmute that.
Oh, okay, that would be great. Thank you very much.
All right.
Hello?
1 second. Caller,
Hello?
you are live.
Nope.
Okay, great. Hi, my name is Erin Abram. I'm a parent in Spring School, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for getting K through 8 officially back 4 days a week. It's a big feat, and I thank you for all the hard work that was put into making that happen. Going forward, I just wanted to ask, are there any plans in looking at getting the kids back 5 days a week this year, or, what's the plan going forward?
Thank you, Erin. Deb, would you like to address that?
We knew once we brought children back 4 days a week, the next question would be, when are we bringing them 5 days a week back? We want to see how this goes. There's a lot involved with going 5 days a week. It's practically a whole new schedule. We talked about it just this morning. Maybe we go back to where we started and we bring back special ed 5 days a week, K to 5 days a week. It has to be a gradual progression because we haven't gained any real space. We've created space, but we haven't gotten a new building yet. And scheduling is a nightmare. As you saw tonight, you reduced some staffing that did have a 0.2 added to their caseloads. And with this new schedule, we were able to reduce them so they weren't over. We have to take that into account too going forward, is what the cost would be, even if it's for one last quarter, if we would need more staff to bring back students 5 days a week. But we are definitely talking about it already. And as soon as we're ready to make a new schedule for the board, we'll bring that forward, Barbara.
Right, thank you. I know that I had asked you about that recently, and you mentioned the fact that having that day in the middle is actually helping with look backs for any people who have tested positive, or may have a family member who tested positive, having that little gap there. So you're only looking at 2 days at a time. Do you find that that's still the case?
That's helpful. All your professional development is actually taking place on Wednesdays, and we feel the remote day helps the students keep their remote skills up for when they do have to go to remote. It's not like, oh, I don't remember what to do now. What's my code again? This helps them remember what it is that they need to do when you go to those remote days. But we will be out of the snow season soon, I hope. And we definitely know that children need to be in school 5 days a week. It's just a matter of how we get there. And the way we started, slowly and steady, we've been successful and we've been safe. So I want to continue with that. And I ask for everybody's patience.
Thanks, Deb. Thank you for calling in, Erin. I hope that answered your question.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Matt, do we have any other callers at this time?
That will be 0, Barbara. Thank you.
Okay, well, Matt, I really appreciate it.
Barbara, I was able to get a date for you. The open meetings law has been continued through February 26th.
Okay, so at the end of the month, you may be hearing from them again that it has continued long.
Yeah, usually it's about a week prior. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll continue to
I'll keep you posted.
Great. Thank you. So on that note, while we do not have any more calls coming in, are we ready to adjourn the meeting? And do I have a motion to adjourn?
Real quick, I had one quick question.
Yeah.
The student grades that just went out, do we get feedback? I mean, so the mail didn't go out, so are the parents just gonna go online and check their children's grades? Is there any
for report cards?
For report cards, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Is there any notice that there's no mail was sent out?
Yeah, Dave, a Blackboard Connect will go out letting parents know to check the parent portal for grades this quarter and comments as well. Since there's no parent-teacher conferences, this would be one of those cycles where they have the comments and then of course they can reach out to the teacher. That'll be going out as soon as the board meeting's over.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
Is there actually a way in the system of checking which parents have checked in to look at grades to follow up in case someone has not checked in on them?
There is. You can see who signed in. Mr. Gibbons is our IT guru on that, and we can follow up with Mr. Gibbons.
Okay, thanks. Board, any other questions at this time? No? Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, everyone, for
Good night,
being here.
everybody.
Have a good
Thank
evening.
you so much.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Thank
night.
you. Congratulations, Christine.
Thank you.